Starburst.
Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire podcast. I'm glad you found out that crap's eating Starburst. That's the first thing you want to hear when you join a gaming podcast, right? He also likes the color blue. So welcome, everybody. Sorry we're a little late. We're just trying to get a couple of mics up and running, and we do have a few cast members coming in the next 10 to 15 minutes, so you will get quite the plethora of gamers on tonight's show. They're just all coming home from work. That being said, let me go down and introduce everybody. We have the infamous 25,000 subscribers and more. Your Crap Gamer. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? I'm really happy to be here, and it's really cool to kick ass with everybody. I'm loving the podcast life. It's really fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy having me on here. And it's cool to do a show that I don't have to host. Because it is
different, right? I mean, I got to be honest with you. Listen, there is such a difference, and I know a lot of our audience goes between all the Xbox community and some of the folks in the chat are from the PlayStation Nation. The point of the matter is that when you don't host the show, it's a lot less stress. You basically you chime in when you want to chime in. You get to sit back and just look at the scroll of topics that come out.
Yep.
And you're like, I like this topic. I don't care for this topic. And,
yeah. So you literally have no fucks to give, right? It's
right.
Like
exactly.
I can just sit there and just be like, hey, it's not my problem. It's Mooch's problem.
That's right. The only time it's a problem is if my mic goes out or something like that. Then you have to at least give a half a fuck.
Yeah. Then I'm in there. I'm in like Crap Gamer mode. Like, hey, welcome to Crap Gamers Crossfire.
Take over.
So my next guest here is GKB from we have the Console Corner, the governor, man. What's up? How are you?
What's going on, Mooch? Great to be back on the Crossfire, man. Love the show. Can't wait to talk a whole bunch of topics, man.
Well, listen. You work in software, I believe, a lot of your day, but we do talk a lot of hardware on this show. So
hey, I'm good.
All right.
She-Wolf's not here, so we're all right.
Well, she's in our thoughts, and we will get a little software in there. I do promise. And then, of course, we have the self-proclaimed King Neutral, Xbot 448. What's up, buddy? How are you?
What's going on, people? Yes, I am King Neutral, and I am in the building.
Absolutely. Listen, I got news for you. I don't know if anyone got a chance to see, but, the thing about neutrals I just wish they would stay neutral. Unfortunately, neutrals, they're worse than enemies. So we'll get into that later on. We'll find out.
I was going to say, Mooch, the thing was, with dealing with these guys, I had somebody write, War and Peace on my Twitter one day. And they were going back and forth about what it was to be neutral. I was like, wow, I fit that demographic, we can talk about media bias? All right, that demographic.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm King Neutral.
There's no limitations.
Neutrals are just fanboys that just claim they're neutral just so that they can say, hey, I'm neutral, but it's all a bunch of bullshit.
Yo, crap, is it like those people that are like, well, I'm not biased because I own more than one console?
Yeah, like okay, come on. I own all the consoles too, but I'm obviously an Xbox guy. Yeah,
right. I mean, we all own both consoles. Everybody owns both consoles. And GKB, I'm throwing you in there. I understand that you returned yours, but the fact that you went out and bought that PlayStation
2 PlayStation 4s
and 2 Vitas. Come on.
Well, do you even use those Vitas ever?
No,
I do sometimes, but
I use it every once in a while, man. But then I got rid of all of it because I just don't use it, to be honest with you.
Now they might announce another one at this September 7th event.
Because the previous one did so well.
I did a joke on M4G that didn't go over too well. I was like, September 7th, Sony announces the Vita 2. September 10th, Sony announces the Vita 2 is now a legacy handheld and they'll no longer support it with first-party software. Yeah.
Boy, Sony really knows how to throw away money. Isn't that something? I mean,
listen, when your only business is games now, basically, that you do what you got to do, I guess.
Was it games, real estate, and insurance?
When Crap's eating Starburst during a podcast, it just reminds me of Bill Murray and Caddyshack. It's
one of my favorite movies all time.
Doesn't he sound like that? It's
I don't know.
Well, in case the audience is wondering, I'm doing a Crap Gamer move here. Since we're waiting for a few podcasters to show up here, and we've got so much to talk about. Believe me, tonight is a chomp at the bit moment. This is not a dry week. Everybody knows. That's why you can see the numbers are just filtering in. People are coming into the show. We're going to start tonight, before the whole crew gets here. We're talking about the ever so dramatic and never-ending controversy of the Titanfall 2 pre-alpha tech demo part 2.
Tech demo 2.
What a name!
2 of 4.
What kind of name is this, right? What is this? The sequel is out this weekend, which is actually, by the way, just so you know, from what I'm hearing, because we get home from work, you don't really get a chance to always play until the night of, and because we're a Friday night show, I haven't gotten a chance to play, but I've been talking to a lot of people that have been playing since noon, and apparently second verse is same as the first. So what we got here is a problem where people are saying they're noticing a little bit speed up when you're getting shot out of a Titan, but ultimately this game is done. Let's go to GKB because I want to talk to you, GKB. You got a little bit of time with the second iteration of this tech demo.
Yep.
Talk us through what you did notice differently, what you heard was coming differently, and what you saw wasn't tweaked at all.
Well, I mean, they talked about a lot of the speed and stuff that was going to change, the Titan ejections, and they were even saying, like, you can dash more on, the Scorched Titans and stuff because they were a little slow and all that stuff. So I got in there today, I was playing around a little bit. Yeah, your pilot is a little bit quicker, but the rest of the stuff is still broken, like what we were talking about before. The rodeo sucks. It's still even more of a camp fest now, like... People are just like all over the place inside buildings. It doesn't foster like really good gameplay anymore, and that's really sad. I mean, yeah, they did speed up a couple of things, but they really didn't fix that much, honestly, to be 100%.
So when you're a pilot and you're busting your ass running, you don't feel the speed that you did in Titanfall 1.
No, I mean it's faster than it was in the previous one, but it's not Titanfall 1 yet. No.
And that's my point here, everybody that's listening. Just because they went and tweaked it slightly more than last week was off. Now today just means to me it's a little less off. But the point is it's still off. You're talking to the people on this panel. We've been playing Community Game Night. That's something that's hosted by Console Corner. GKB and She-Wolf do a great job of doing that and hosting. That's a lot of work that they put into that. But my point is this. We've been playing Titanfall pretty much every other week for months now. So you're talking about people that have put many hours. I think I have logged right around 300 hours into Titanfall. Okay, does that put me in the 1,000 hour club? No, but it definitely puts me into a category where I've played it enough.
Yeah.
It's just, if it's not the same, it's a fail. I'm sorry. Listen, anybody that picks up the phone right now, it's Friday night, right? What do you do when you get home from Friday night? It's pizza night. For most families, tonight's pizza night. You've been cooking all week. You're like, let's get the wings and pizza for the kids, the family. Even if you're single, before you go out to the club, you're going to get some pizza. Wherever you ordered the pizza from last week, you want it to be the same. That's why you're calling them. If you weren't happy with last week's pizza, you're calling somebody else. What we're saying here is all you had to do, Respawn, was add a campaign and give us new maps. That's all you had to do. You know those things that are on Twitter? You had one job and you failed? You had one job. You just had to give us new maps and basically give us a campaign. That's basically it. It's not that big of a deal. What do? They changed everything, and that's why we have a problem with the pizza. There's a problem with the sauce, and they're going to have to fix it. Crap, what do you think? Am I the only one that feels this way?
Well, here's the thing, right? And like GKB's right, because he had really good points on Xbox Nation too. I was worried that they would just say try to do the placebo effect after everybody complained that it was too slow.
Yes.
Like just go, yeah, we sped it up for you. Like we can't fucking tell.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I haven't tested out the second one yet. I'm going to tonight. But yeah, I think that GKB also had a point this past Wednesday night when he said, "What if when they're testing these games, because they do like they test this stuff way before do, if they brought in PS4 gamers to play the first one to see what they thought." And this is a game that's so fast. There's nothing like it. Like when you first played that on Xbox One, you're like, holy shit, this is really fast-paced. There's nothing really like it. And then, I don't think there's anything like that on PlayStation. So when they probably brought in like the Call of Duty people and stuff like that, and they're playing this, and they're like, wow, it's way too fast. We don't know what's going on. I mean, this is a real possibility that happened, and so they dumb it down for specifically because they're trying to reach more of an audience, and they're like, okay, two things. We can get more COD players by doing that, and two, we can appeal to the PlayStation 4 players who might not be as skilled, and we can maybe appeal to them as well. So I think that, that Respawn should have probably just stuck with the one. Not only that, but I just thought it was hilarious that PS4 had maintenance on PlayStation Network today when the test kicked off, and Respawn like called them out on it. It was hilarious. I was like, oh shit, that's great, man. The comments were to die for.
Here's the other thing too, is like, I don't know what's up with the map design either, but it's not really fostering a lot of like really tight gameplay like the first one did either. Like there's such a vast map, and we kind of made fun of like Battlefield a little bit, where you spawn in and have to run for like 30 minutes before you found somebody, and that's kind of what it almost feels like now, because these new maps are just so much bigger, which we thought would be cool.
Are they newer maps than last week, or are they
there's just one? Yeah, there's just one newer one, which looks a lot like, I think, Frontier on the first.
So it's still more of that, like there's like maybe a couple buildings in the middle, but then all around the edges it's all kind of plain.
Yeah, it's just really open up where they're trying to like foster like a bigger
This is sad, man. This is absolutely sad. Not for anything. You got two things going on right here. You have Respawn trying to cater to the multi-plat, which is what GKB said on Xbox Nation. I'm almost sure that happened. And then another thing people aren't thinking about is the whole thing with having the AI on the Azure servers doing the computing. They don't have that anymore, so it has to be written into the game.
Well, they say they have it, but it feels barren, like a wasteland to me.
Dude, they don't feel. Yeah, it doesn't feel as lively, as interactive and stuff like that as the first Titanfall. The first Titanfall, when you had the pods drop, they scattered, they found cover, they kind of grouped together in little like little 2-3 grunt groups, and you know what I'm saying? You don't see that in there.
Let's discuss a word here that's being overlooked. Everybody, even people that are fans of it, okay? There is a group of people on Twitter that are saying, "Hey, stop complaining. Let's enjoy the game." But when I ask them, do you notice camping? They go, "Absolutely." Now, there, you have a problem. That's the beauty that was Titanfall. Was it evaded that. We didn't have that in the first one. It was so fluent. You had to move. I remember when I first started playing Titanfall, I played it like COD. And you know what? I learned the hard way. You don't play like you can sit in a corner in Titanfall 1. You'll either have no interaction with people at all, because we're bouncing off the walls, literally, or you'll have like one kill and you'll find that you have to come out. You'll have to come out. And here you don't, because there's nothing going on. There's no war happening. There's no interaction on the ground. See, before the pilots could I felt comfortable running right across the map in Titanfall 1 because I was running through grunts. Nobody knew if it was me. I quickly cloaked. I jumped up on the wall. You were able to like put yourself in incognito. You can't do that in this game. You're automatically, the minute you move, you're sonared. You're spotted. You're shot. And it's usually from somebody on top of a roof with a rifle or a snipe, tool. It's just to me personally.
Over in the left corner behind a bush somewhere is where you got that guy with the sniper rifle.
They added too like the timer now on the Titan spawns and stuff like that. And it is barely even noticeable. Like I was just sitting there like in the middle of the map just waiting for it to tick, and it's so minute. Like it didn't help really at all to get any more Titans any faster. And you still have to kill and all that stuff. And to be honest, like it pains me to say this, but Respawn, I think you just need to delay this till next year. Honestly.
The soul of this game is gone right now. It's absolutely gone.
I said that. I put it out there this morning. I wrote to Vince and Respawn, and a lot of people retweeted it out. I said, for the benefit, just please, I mean this sincerely. It's not a joke. It's not a troll. Delay the game for multiple reasons. First of all, the game has a lot of problems. We all know that. You know that. And this is supposed to be something. Now, let me just prove to you where Mooch made a point, and a lot of people on the panel here made a point, and where this point actually leads to truth, okay, and not just opinion. Everyone said to me, Mooch, calm down, all right? This is just a test. We're testing servers. We're testing servers. now you got developers coming out here with notepads going door to door. What can we do to fix it? No. You don't come out in 6-7 weeks from now, and you're still tweaking the game on what its actual fundamentals are.
Well, Mooch,
okay?
What Rand said too. Sorry, X-Man.
No, it's all right, man. That's what CrossFire is about, dude.
What Rand was saying too, to piggyback on your point there, is what do you see on the front menu screen? Pre-order the game. This is no tech test. This is a build that they built for this to test the servers, but this is what you're probably going to get in the final game.
Well, GKB, you're saying that they have the pre-order right on the main screen and everything like that. I still want to know, and I don't think Respawn has said this. Why are they using a quote-unquote pre-alpha build so late in the development of this game right now? You know what I'm saying? All it did was it stemmed confusion, it stemmed controversy when it's only 2 months away from the game officially launching.
Honestly, I think they use the word pre-alpha to sidestep what really it is, and it's more of a beta, like almost final version of the game. Honestly, like it's not even pre-alpha. Let's be honest.
What we're getting
It's
here,
not.
What we're getting here is Respawn. This is where they want to go with the title, with it going multiplat. Now they saw a bunch of complaints and they're like, "Hey, oh well, what can we do to fix it?" And they'll add in like little minor things and stuff like that. But this is where they want to go with the title. They're not going to delay it because this is a conscious change from them. They're not going to change it because of this, that, or whatever. They're going to figure, hey, it's multiplat. We're going to sell so many units anyway. They're screwing themselves, is what they're doing.
Why did they change this? Let's just all slow this down for a minute, because I think the audience wants to know, why would you do this?
I think GKB was on point.
Yeah. I do too.
I just think that they were testing it with PS4. They're trying to reach to that 40 million or whatever, and that's what. And what was funny was when we were playing it, I said, I would love flashback maps to the first game, but I have to wonder would those maps even be playable because they slowed it down and changed so much. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
they'd be playable in the sense that they would feel like new maps to us and not like previous maps to us.
Yeah, but you'd go to do the shit that you do on Titanfall 1, and you'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to string together the wall running or the
thing I want to remind the audience, Crap, is this, and I want to get back to your point. The audience needs to know that the reason we are critiquing this game, this isn't a bash Titanfall. Let's get down on Vince and Pella. We give a shit about this game. And let me tell you who doesn't give a shit, Vince. Okay? The other half. The PlayStation gamers, wait till the sales come out, and we can actually see how this thing was parted down the road. You're going to see that Xbox is probably going to be 65 to 70% of your sales. Why would you change something when you already had a fan base built on the game that you created, and now you're trying to cater to the masses? The problem is the masses aren't coming. We were, and now you've lost a lot of faithful, and that's why we're a little concerned.
Well, what's funny is EA was like, they're expecting less sales from Battlefield 1 and more sales from Titanfall 2.
They said that?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, they said that their expectations for Battlefield 1 are low, but Titanfall 2 are high. Everybody thought that people were going to just love Titanfall 2. Right?
Well, that was before they came out with this tech test, everybody was hyped for this game.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And
you want to know something? And when I say this, Xbot, hear me out. This is interesting. This is anti-consumer. But they were probably better off just releasing the damn thing and then tweaking it as they went along. Because now, I'm telling you right now, at least, let me be realistic. Let me not just spout out a number. I would say 20%. Their sales have been affected by at least 20% because of this tech test. That's a big deal.
I could definitely see that. I've seen multiple people on Twitter say, you know what? EA Access. Like, they have no problem.
Jay Williams, shout out to Jay Williams, who couldn't make it tonight. Jay Williams made the shirt after Xbox Nation when I said, EA, we'll wait for EA Access, or he's making another one for me. He's saying, Vince, I'll meet you in the vault. Listen, I got news. Because to be honest with you, and shout out to Jamie Moran, we really should give tribute to him. He's always here, and he makes Twitter that much more entertaining during podcasts. But he just said, prepare for Titan Pass. So he's literally out. A lot of people are out. And it's not to be rude, crude, or anything in the middle of that. You're hearing logical complaints of something, like I said, that we adored, and they changed. And the things I didn't like about it were this. Okay, of course the speed and the maps. But then I believe GKB just hit it, and he said it hadn't changed. My biggest problem is the rodeoing of the Titans. How now you just pull that battery out, then you got to hop on again, and then you got to throw in that's like an 80s movie where, like, you're just throw the grenade in the big hole and then run.
There was so much more strategy in the first Titanfall for trying to hang on there and shoot at that. Like, I remember being in a Titan, like, I used to try to jump out of my Titan, shoot that dude, jump back in. It was like a game within a game.
And there's no reason to do that now, because you just stay in.
Now it's just superficial.
Yeah.
Like, it's bullshit. Straight
And,
bullshit.
and you're already at a disadvantage, like, because you're a pilot against a Titan. So jumping on the Titan kind of evened it out a little bit because you could just shoot the thing, and then they'd have to get out, and then you just kind of duke it out. So it was, whatever best gun skill would win. But now they just knock you off, and then they just have to turn around and just punch you. I mean, you're just a pilot, right? So I didn't understand that gameplay mechanic at all.
And again, shout out to Jamie. He made a really good point. He said we were worried about server change, not a change to everything.
Yeah.
And that was the big concern. The big concern was going to be, are we going to see it be laggy? Are we going to see disconnections? Are we going to find out now that we're not with the Azure if there's going to be this and that? But, and what an interesting thing. Another thing that Microsoft was getting bashed for in 2013, 2014 that we now miss today is what Respawn was able to use the cloud for with the grunts and just making the environment so alive. Isn't that something? Mm-hmm. Another thing Sony can't do, and now that we're not there, and shout out to Red Dragon. I've been speaking a lot to Red in the DMs. Congratulations to him. He just got engaged. And congratulations to PTK Blam for getting engaged too. Right. Shout out to PTK. But just a little segment there. But what Red was saying was the reason he's not a fan of Titanfall 2 is Red said when I used to get dropped in, when you jumped out of the plane and you got dropped in, he's like, you were immersed into this war. There was a war going on. You felt like the game just started and you were late to the party. You were like, I better hurry the fuck up. Now, you get dropped in and you're like, hold on a minute, I got to go make another drink. My drink's getting low. You know what I mean? Well, there's nothing happening.
Well, Mooch, you actually hit it right on the head there. Like, the first one, there's a war going on. This second one, I mean, they even take out attrition and they put in people's bank mode. I mean, what the like in between waves, you're going in and making a deposit over at people's bank and stuff like that. I really don't like that, man.
How do they take out attrition, which is basically team deathmatch? That's like one of the most popular. Yeah, that's like one of the most popular modes because that's what we all
played.
Yeah, you can jump if you're playing by yourself or whatever. You jump in that. If you just play the other stuff, you really need teamwork. Attrition was like the only one you could just jump into by yourself or maybe with one other person.
As far as bounty, the bounty mode goes, I didn't really hate that mode. I thought it was an interesting mode. You just kill people, get money, and then try and put it in the bank. I mean, it was kind of fun there, but it's just all the other mechanics just made it feel just like shit.
Now, you said it was kind of fun, and I hear what you're saying. Is it kind of fun because for a certain amount of time it feels kind of like attrition? Is it kind of like that nostalgia thing that? I mean,
before the vault spawn, it's kind of like attrition. You're right, where you're just killing each other, trying to get your Titans and all that kind of stuff. And then when the vault spawn, it's kind of then it goes back to that like team-based kind of play. Yeah, I could see that for sure.
When I was first playing it, I didn't know what the hell was going on for that first half of the map, and you can ask GKB. I was like, what the hell are you supposed to do? He's like, well, when you get kills and stuff, then you deposit in the bank when the banks show up. And I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I had no fucking idea what was going on. So,
Dude, it takes the fun away from doing, like, everything in the middle of that mode, in the middle of the waves, is fun. All right, it reminded me kind of like of attrition, but still having the setbacks that this Titanfall does have. But it brought me back a little bit to attrition, and then I'm looking around, and I'm like, where's the rest of my team? And they're all like making a deposit at the bank. I'm like, oh man, it just completely took me out of the game. I was like, oh yeah, no, I got to go back there and make sure I put this money in. Like, made no sense to me.
Hey, Mooch, real quick, you were talking about Red Dragon there.
Mooch lost connection, so it's now officially Crap Gamers Podcast.
Oh, he lost connection.
Yeah, he did. So what's up? Go ahead, what you were going to say.
I was just going to say, you know what, fuck Polygon for blocking the Red Dragon for speaking his mind and telling the truth, man. So, Polygon, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, Polygon, like, they did, you know what happened, right? I think Red Dragon did something about some feminist type. Like, Polygon is all about the whole feminist movement or whatever. Like, I think girls kick ass too, but I don't think you need to pander to them to let them know that. I mean, they know it just like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like,
true girl gamers don't want to be pandered to anyway.
No, exactly. They're badass people.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the interesting part. And then also, what was interesting was Polygon. Like, here I go. I do a video today about how the media. I seen some media outlets actually attacking Sony for their bullshit, and then Polygon's out there defending No Man's Sky again, saying the best thing about it is the fact that you're all alone or whatever. And I was like, I saw that. I was like, get out of here.
Wow.
Hey, welcome back. You guys hear me? Yeah, thank you. Listen, it's always nice to be able to take a 5-minute when the internet tells me to take a break. That's my favorite. Thank you, everybody. It's great to be back. It really is great. No, thanks for taking over. I have to write the crap. I have a red phone in my office. It literally rings to Florida, only Crap's house. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. So, no, what I wanted to where did you guys leave off? My apologies again.
Oh, GKB was talking about how he hates Polygon because they banned Red Dragon.
Well, listen, if you want to talk about Polygon, can we just talk about Polygon for a minute? Great segue. Of course, everybody likes to say, Mooch, stop with the biased media. Will you just stop with the biased media? The problem is I can't because the media continues to be biased. So the problem is that Polygon today had an article out that basically read along the lines of, good thing some of the social features aren't working in No Man's Sky. We don't need that anyway.
Yeah.
And I wrote, what the actual fuck does that mean? Like, I don't even know how to bash Polygon. Can you help me with this, guys? I mean, crap, did you see the article? I know GKB.
Yeah, I did. We were talking about it just a second before you came in. I was like, yeah, they were basically damage controlling the fact that you can't really do anything in No Man's Sky. It's all alone, and I thought one of the best things I saw in No Man's Sky was the Honest Game trailers. They do like kind of satire stuff, but there was nothing really satire in there. It was just all true stuff. They even had the multiple times where they're like, "Is there multiplayer? Are you going to be able to meet up with other players?" And he's like, "Yes." Multiple times. I mean, that's just some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like they just been kind of exposed as one of the main problems this generation, which is we get sold something that we didn't really want. We were sold on something completely different, and now like that's kind of unfortunate because it just is like to me that whole situation is just shit.
Well, people are speaking with their wallets, right? No, go ahead, GKB.
I was seeing tweets today that, like 2 weeks that No Man's Sky is like wiping the servers and stuff, so all that progress and all that stuff that you did,
anything
no
you
longer
named
matter.
and stuff like that is getting cleared off for other people to do the same freaking
So is
thing.
that why there's 18 trillion bazillion planets in here? Is because they just wipe it out and then you just start all over again?
Yeah, basically, originally for what I remember hearing was, if you name something, then that'll be named that for somebody else. And now it's only like that for 2 weeks? Are you serious? Yeah. Come on, man.
No, not only that. I mean, I don't want to really get into, I don't know, the game No Man's Sky, but did you guys see what happens like when you get to the center of the universe?
No, yeah, nothing there.
It is the most egotistical thing like they could have done in this game. You get to the middle, and they throw you completely out of it, and then you can go to another like galaxy and do the whole thing over again. There's some like Let's Play people on YouTube that have been through like 11, 12, 13 galaxies, and they all do just the same thing.
This is outrageous right now. Here's the thing. Listen, at least it's this. The one saving grace we have as people to know that the Earth is still spinning correctly is that people are not playing it anymore. And I thought it was really funny when I put a tweet out the other day to Rad Brad, who I definitely want to say, I want people to know this. I respect him. He does it for a living, and he does a hell of a job. But Brad, whatever Sony's paying you, it's not enough. Because here's the deal. No one wants to watch all those episodes you're doing of No Man's Sky. After those tweets went out and people were retweeting and putting his name in it and this and that, he started doing, I believe, Deus Ex. But my point being is that people are not playing it. PC use is down 90%, and I believe PlayStation is down after 2 weeks 81%. Basically, all those big numbers we heard 2 weeks ago, and Rand will be joining us shortly. Rand had quoted from Steam 212,000 people, which was a record for 2016. Listen, I want to break this to everybody. I don't know how many people here are NBA fans, but listen.
Oh, me.
Okay, well, the Golden State Warriors last year went undefeated, right? They went undefeated or whatever. Not undefeated. They had the best. Excuse me. They had the best record in the NBA regular season. And
73-9, I think.
People who are Chicago Bulls fans were saying it don't mean a thing if you don't got that ring. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't win the ring. They didn't win the ring. So here's my point. If you break records, 212,000 users on Steam, and then you have like 18,000 2 weeks later, listen to me. That's a failure. It is a failure. Go ask Steph Curry how he feels about going whatever it was, 73-9 without a ring. You know what? Because LeBron James is a lot happier going 60-something and whatever and having some jewelry on his finger. That's just the way it is. So my point being here is all the other games that were in that game's company, I think it was GTA, there was a few other games of that nature, GTA still in the top 10 every month in NPD sales. GTA has longevity. That's what makes something that breaks records and then continues. When you break a record and then all of a sudden you're diddly squat in 7 business days, you're a never was. You know, that's my problem. So, I mean, that's my biggest issue with that. And the YouTubers look foolish that were defending it. The ones that came out and lashed out, good for them. Good for them. They're far and few between. I mean, that's just my take on that. I know we're beating No Man's Sky into a into a pummel.
But it's one of those examples of, like, because it came out on Sony's end, you have the media trying to praise it, even praising the fact that, you know, you can't see if a person, you know, drops on the same planet with you and stuff like that. Actually praising the fact that you can't see him, even though Sean was like kind of saying you can. You know what I'm saying? It's a prime example within a game of what's going on with the media.
Well, my question is, was Sean's back against the wall from Sony?
Well,
I don't know. If you ever notice, take a look at the time lapse of interviews. Take a look at what Sean looked like in the beginning, and then take a look towards like the last few interviews. Dude, like, he looked like he went through absolute hell.
Hey,
Yeah,
if you watch there's something called Did You Know Gaming. They have a YouTube thing, and there's a Did You Know Gaming No Man's Sky, and it's really interesting because, you know, even a PlayStation executives have said it's a miracle that this game came out. Apparently, Sean Murray was just, you know, like, he had been asked by Jeff Keighley before the Game Awards if he could get a trailer together that Jeff Keighley would put it up there, and Sean Murray did, and he showed it to some people, and people hated it. Right. But Jeff Keighley had worked his ass off to get this video in there, and so that's what happened. Once they showed it to everybody with all that amazing bullshit gameplay and idea, people were all like, "Oh my god, I can't wait!" And then, you know, basically that got all the hype going. You know what I mean? I can remember talking with like Worrywart and stuff, you know what I mean? He was like so excited for the game, and you're gonna explore and do this and do that, and yeah, and now we know basically what came.
Well,
from
you know,
that.
and listen, you know what, Xbox, not to take you, that was a great point that you made, but I do want to say something. I watched basically back before Destructoid turned into the Destructoid that they are today. Pardon me for not being able to get that word out. that is not a normal word that rolls off the tongue. I just want to say that. But when Destructoid was something that I think was a little bit more fun, I won't say credible, but more fun to watch, there was a girl that used to host the show at Max Scoville named Tara Long, and she did a really good job. I thought her journalism was very good. Did I agree with everything
Whatever
she
happened
said?
to her?
She basically just stepped out of gaming, which is unfortunate. Or if she's doing something, she's doing it behind the scenes. I shouldn't speak to that. I don't know. But she was a huge BioShock fan. And with that being said, you had they showed Ken Levine going from basically the first day on Infinite to the last day, and Ken Levine looked like he just got out of the emergency room when they launched BioShock Infinite. Wait, real quick, what I'd like to do is introduce everybody. His logo's not up yet, but Worrywart has joined us. So Worry, I don't know if you can hear us, buddy.
I just give me 2 seconds because I was just closing the casket on my copy of No Man's Sky. I'm about to bury it.
Putting that last nail in there.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah,
it's
it was
Worrywart.
Very disappointed. I was so disappointed in that game.
Hey, Worrywart, I like Crap Gamer here. Hello, I know.
By the way, fair warning here. I have a lot of glasses of wine in me.
Okay,
great. I'm jealous.
Hey, Worrywart,
Okay.
maybe you remember me. We used to do podcasts together and stuff.
Yeah, you're that albino compelling person.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So you made a post on Xbox Live that No Man's Sky should have been called Mining, Moving, and Mining Some More. and I shared it, and then I ended up getting big alerts for like 200 alerts because like 200 people liked it and commented on it. So I just thought that was hilarious.
Boy.
Well, what happened, Worry?
You're
Take us
welcome
through
for the
that.
success of my message on Xbox Live.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he did actually quite well with that word. But what was your take on that? Because listen, you've always been, and you know, welcome to CrossFire, by the way, because it's good that I think you have joined us one time. It was ways ago. But
yeah, it was a long time ago.
It was a while ago. But here's the thing. what we like to do is here. I just said this. We just went through the Titanfall 2 tech demo. I do want to hear your opinion on it. We'll go back to that before we get into what is happening in the media recently. But what happened with basically No Man's Sky from what you thought you were promised to what you actually got when you sat down and played a few hours?
I look at it as though I'm not really upset with. It's Hello Games, correct, Sean Murray?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that they had an idea and they were passionate about making something. And obviously they're small, and I think they needed money. And I think they got caught up in that whole marketing blitz of this is going to sell more consoles, and look how great this game is. And they misrepresented the gameplay. Not Hello Games, but I think maybe Sony or somebody misrepresented the gameplay. If you look at the recent, what's the PC game? Star Citizen or Star?
Yeah.
StarCraft.
Yeah, they just show gameplay of that, and that's going to be a game where there's heavy resource management. By watching the demo, and when you saw all these demos of No Man's Sky, all you saw basically was an action-adventure game. You didn't know that you were going to have to refuel your ship by mining the same minerals over and over and over again, and do the same thing for your exosuit, and then do the same thing for your oxygen. I mean, I literally got the ship working on the first planet at the beginning of the game, took off, flew for 5 minutes to the next planet to check out a waypoint, and when I landed, I was out of fuel, and I had to mine again and do that over and over and over again. So, it's not the game that they represented. And I got the same vibe with, it's still in preview with We Happy Few. I thought it was going to be a BioShock-esque action adventure, but it's heavy resource management and survival.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, that was the first thing that turned me off to it. I wasn't quite as turned off. And I'm not defending it. I'm probably not purchasing We Happy Few just because it's not the game that I thought it was. However, Rory, I would say from a consumer standpoint, I would be a little bit more upset with. And I don't hold it. I want to say this. It's fun to poke fun and troll and this and that on Twitter, but I really don't hold Sean Murray very responsible. I really think this was Sony saying this needs to come out now, and that's the product we got. And that's what it was. I think he was kind of pushed. I think that Sony made it sound like it was more than it was. It's not the first time. It's not going to be the last time. But We Happy Few, I know, like Xbot, you're a fan of it. But in all honesty, it is something different, and I just think that something different is a little bit more of your calling card.
But you know what? What's interesting about it, though, if you play We Happy Few, the first level of that is the level that they showed over and over and over again as a representation of what the game was. And the opening level looks incredible, and then when you crawl out from underground, everything just sort of takes a nosedive, and it becomes this resource scavenger quest, and it's not indicative of what they showed and even what you play in the beginning. It's almost like a BioShock game in the beginning, and then it becomes, go get some drugs, go get some water, go get
a lot of drugs.
Clean the syringes out of the water and help the guy who's throwing up in the corner. And it's just not. I think there's a lot of that now with games. They're just being misrepresented.
Well, Mooch, I know you said I'm a fan of We Happy Few. Yeah, I do like the game, but I did something that casual gamers won't do. Casual gamers, when they see kind of like what they showed for the game, that BioShock type thing, they got excited for that. I have a habit of looking into things. I'm just built that way. I research on a daily basis, and I looked into this game, and they come to find out they had a PC. They were doing a game preview on PC, so I went in to see exactly what the game was.
Right.
Not everybody will do that. I understand that, but when it came to me, I already knew what to expect. I was trying to tell other people what to expect because, like you said, that first thing that they showed, that's only kind of like the intro, and then the game twists.
Yeah,
and it gives you that whole survival thing afterwards. But I got excited because I was looking into it, and fortunately there was a PC game preview that I was able to go in and watch people playing it, seeing what it was about and stuff like that, and that's what I was excited for.
Well, I fucking hate the fact that you got to eat and drink. You know what I mean? Like even the crafting stuff would be.
They got to tone that down so much.
Yeah, even if
every 5 minutes.
The crafting stuff would be okay. Like maybe you could deal with it if they did the story like how the beginning is. But the fucking constant eat drink stuff is bullshit. I don't like it.
But see, here's the thing. It's in game preview. See, now Sony says they don't like game preview. They turn down was it Wildcard Games gave them what they said was a final version of Ark, but you know it would be tweaked and adjusted over time. But they gave them had the full game presented to them to, hey, can we put this on the PlayStation 4? Sony said no because they don't like game previews and stuff like that. So does that mean that No Man's Sky, like when they actually get everything set and that they could possibly put in that semi-multiplayer aspect, does that mean that Sony won't let them do it?
I think we're looking a little too into games, and this is going to segue back to Titanfall because for a minute, as the host, I want to ask Worry and enjoy his commentating on this as almost like I'm in the audience. You know, listen, we got to stop saying this with games. A game is a game. Let me quote Phil. A game is a game is a game. Okay. My point being with that is you can't look at a game like We Happy Few where it's got such a heavy emphasis on survival. And then tell me, well, you know what they'll do? They'll lower a little bit of the fact that you got to do this and that. At the end of the day, if you don't like to go hunt for food, this game's not for you. And when if Sean Murray has another 2 years and another $50 million budget, it's still going to be go to a planet, collect resources, go to another planet and collect resources. He may tweak a couple things here and there, but the game's not all of a sudden going to become Star Wars Battlefront the way it was back in 2002. So my point being with this is I want to go back, Worry. One of the things we talked about, and then we'll get a little bit further into the episode today.
You talk, man. My goodness.
Oh, sorry. Worry. It's been too long, hasn't it?
Does he breathe?
Oh, I have an oxygen tank right here.
Oh,
no, Worry. Let's get to have you played the Titanfall 2 tech demo?
I have not played it. I'm happy to talk about anything with the word tit in it because
nice.
But the first Titanfall, I'm not a big multiplayer person. I like single player. I played it though because it was approachable and I could shoot the little guys who didn't mean anything and still feel like I was accomplishing something.
Yes.
I know that it ran really well. It was smooth.
Yes.
I haven't played the second one, but probably it's going to have a shoehorned in single player because they're adding it in there just for the hell of it.
Agreed.
And it's always, anytime a game goes from being, on one thing and then opens up to everything else, you're open up to everything else's, positives and negatives. So it's not going to be the same game, obviously.
Right.
It probably will alienate a lot of people who were fans of the first one.
Well, in this case, Worry, the issue at hand currently is that what they did was they went and took the game and they went from a game that you just said that maybe you're not a fan of in a multiplayer aspect, but what they did was you could have played it, and now they've turned it into Call of Duty with a Titan that occasionally falls from the sky. They slowed it down. They got rid of all that grunt fighting, the war fighting you used to see in between while you were just like trying to get from one end of the map to the other. That's pretty much gone because the cloud's gone. And now it's basically the cloud, the magic of the cloud, which we find out more and more that it does exist. It's almost like it's like the talking M&Ms.
Yeah, I know. I've been using it for the last 30 years at work. I mean, it's there.
You're like, I've seen it. I use it.
Right.
I mean, that's the problem I have. In my opinion, all Vince had to do was he just had to slap a campaign in there and give us some new maps.
Vince Zappella, right?
Vince Zappella, yeah. And I say it like me and him just got done fucking shopping, right?
Yeah, I was like, who's Vince?
Yeah, like Vince,
like
Vince.
you and him just got done fucking what?
I said went to the mall.
Hey, it's 2016, man.
And thanks for making the podcast credible, crap. That's awesome. But I mean, that was my take on it, and I mean, you didn't get a chance to play the tech demo, so but I should have known better. It's really not your cup of tea in gaming.
I mean, when I heard there was going to be whenever there's a multiplayer game that comes out and it's just multiplayer, and then the next one comes out and they go, we're going to add single player, it's usually shit.
Right.
So I usually steer clear games like that. But I mean, I don't see why Titanfall couldn't have launched with a complete package. I think they missed the boat there. Because it was unique. It's a unique take on gameplay. I mean, after the game came out, how many shooters went vertical?
Well, that's the thing. Not only vertical, it made its own column in first-person shooters. It had its own presence, and now it's just been shifted over to the left, and now it's in this game is like COD. Every game is like COD. Now this game is like COD. So that's what I'm saying. And with a plethora of games coming out this fall, why do I need to buy Titanfall 2? I'm buying Battlefield 1, possibly, and I'm definitely already in for the nostalgia factor of the Call of Duty the remaster. So why do I need to get this game that's basically going to be the same? It's going to be Battlefield and this combined together. I'm pretty much out. I mean, where that sounds like you're out. GKB says at least he's waiting until.
It's hard to leave that extra $40 million on the table. That's what it was probably.
Yeah.
Yes, that is hard. I mean, but Microsoft, I thought, made up for most of that last time, but maybe not.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to segue into something here, and I a lot of on the spot here for Worry, but Worry, you did a great video the other day. It was like your coffee cup contemplation, but instead you used an empty glass with a straw contemplation.
Yeah, well, when I noticed that I went from 10 viewers to 11 when I added the straw, so.
Yeah, the straw was. Actually, that's what made me click.
I'm gonna keep that in there.
And it was a green straw, so you must be Xbox partial.
Hey, do you remember a long time ago? Not to cut you off. I don't know what it was, but I think Crap was. If you're on a deserted island and you can only take one console with you, which one would it be?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So bad. And I'm thinking to myself, what fucking deserted island has power that I can plug into?
I think your answer after that was also neither. I'm taking a woman.
Right, exactly.
I think that was your answer too. Those are great. Oh man, those are the good days.
He's like, please, just say Xbox. Just say Xbox.
That was really, just say it. God damn it in the DM. But Worry did a hell of a job, and I want after Worry gets done, just kind of explaining what it was the Colin Moriarty and the folks at Kind of Funny Games. They had Andrea on. What's Andrea's last name? Crap,
Renee.
Is that it? Andrea Renee?
Andrea Renee, yeah.
And she was on, and she's delightful. And she gave her 2 cents, and she really countered and then attacked, rightfully so, Colin Moriarty. Worry, take us through the way that you were saying. What would you say? Prejudice and pride.
I watch. I mean, I know you guys aren't big. I know there's not a lot of big fans of Colin Moriarty or Greg Miller here, but I used to watch a lot of the videos because if you want PlayStation news, they're the guys to go to. Obviously,
right.
You're going to get roses and sunshine every time they talk about it, so you listen to them. But I've never really been a big fan of. Listen, when you're wrong, you're wrong. You just have to swallow it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And they're talking about he's talking about console gaming businesses. He actually brought up the fact that because the PlayStation Slim is smaller, that means that they're going to spend less on plastic, and that's going to help Sony. I mean, it's ridiculous talking about plastic and production costs. But then they started to talk about mobile, and she had a lot of great points. I mean, listen, she knows what she's talking about. I mean, just because she's an attractive woman doesn't mean she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about.
Hey, she was the one that brought up a couple years ago at that E3 where Sony introduced Powers and talked about their TV shit.
Yes, right. That's all they talked about was TV, TV.
And she goes, now didn't everybody hate on Microsoft for talking about that at their reveal, and everybody just shut the fuck up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
She did the same thing this week with the fact that he goes, just give me a cardboard box, put circuits in it, as long as that game plays, I don't care what it looks like. And she goes, wait a minute. She said you guys spent the first 2 years making fun of the VCR box that was the Xbox One. Right. She really nailed this guy.
Yeah.
That's going to piss off her husband or her future husband because he worked for PlayStation. John Drake or whatever the hell his name is, big PlayStation bigwig.
These guys flip-flop jobs all the time, crap. You know what I mean? Look at you had what's his face there? Adam Boyce. Now he's part of Iron Galaxy.
Iron Galaxy.
It doesn't end. These guys flip flop all over the place, so it doesn't really. According, as Worry would like to hear me say, the console wars are pretty much only in this world. It's not in their world. They're all yucking it up for the most part. But I mean, GKB, what did you take on the whole?
I didn't even finish, for God's sake.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm worried. I heard you taking a nice sip of that Cabernet, and I got jealous. Go ahead.
They were talking about mobile, and he was talking about how console is the place to be for developers, and nobody on mobile makes money. There's only like 1 or 2 devs, and everybody else is just in the toilet. And obviously, she knows what she's talking about. You listen to her; she's making a lucid, valid argument, and he keeps cutting her off, and she keeps saying, "I agree to disagree," being very nice. But then when you say something like, "I can name 25, and I bet you can't name 5," that's what kids do. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's not how you have an argument. And when he said that to her, all she said was, well, I could, but I respectfully disagree. Now, all you have to do, they all have laptops when they're sitting there talking. All you have to do, and I did this, you type in top grossing mobile developers, and you know what comes up? 25 developers from 2013 made 86% of the revenue. Now, his argument was he can name 25 console developers to 5 mobile developers. Well, there's 25 mobile developers that are making tons and tons and tons of money. I hate mobile. He hates mobile. That's probably why he can't see that. But to say that they're not making any money there and nobody makes money in mobile is absolutely ridiculous. and then he just completely dismisses her and marginalizes her for the rest of the podcast. And if you look at the guy sitting to his left, all he's doing is staring glazed at the table.
Like in shock?
Like he doesn't, like, why am I even here? Why should I talk? And he even says, what does it matter if the money's being made? And the next response when you hear him say that is, guys, I'm done arguing with you. You're wrong. That's what he says.
Yeah, that is it. That is it.
I mean, it's completely turned me off. I am not watching that. I'm completely turned me off to it.
Yeah, that was, and I was just shocked to see that kind of argument go down. And I actually went to their page and looked at their videos. That video, because of that argument, spiked about 20 to 30% more views than anything else they've ever put out.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if she went back on there. I felt bad for her. I did.
Yeah, that was a bit of an attack, and when she said, okay, let's respectfully agree to disagree, that's usually the end of it on something like that. You know what I mean? If it's a podcast we're doing, who cares? You can keep going on and on. You shouldn't, but you keep going on. But, I mean, my whole thing, though, with this was that I thought this was a sign of maybe things kind of changing a little, because the reason Colin got so defensive is you have Microsoft that put out an Xbox One S that's clearly doing very well. Forget my opinion means nothing. It's all about the sales and how they're doing. They're doing very well. They've sold out. And now you've got this thing coming out that was supposed to be neck and neck, and now we're finding out they even pulled out the optical in the back. They're trying to go, now everyone's, the damage controllers, they're trying to just undercut the Xbox One S.
Guys, who uses optical out anyway, right?
Wait,
I mean, come on.
Well, you do know that if you spell Sony backwards, you get yes, no optical support.
Oh! Beautiful, Rory, beautiful. Outstanding.
I think they're going for the cheapest box possible to undercut with price. I mean, if you see a PlayStation Slim that's $200 or even cheaper, that's what they're going for, and then they're going to say, well, our next box coming out, the what is it called? The
Neo?
Yes, the Neo.
Codename Neo.
Right, and the Neo is going to be so much better than it. There's going to be a leap. But if you want an entry level that's really cheap and maybe $100 is what's separating you from buying it, that's what they're going for, versus the Xbox One S. Now, it's insane. It is insane not to have a 4K Blu-ray player.
Mm-hmm.
In there.
That's my point.
Because they sell 4K TVs. I have a 70-inch Masterclass Sony 4K television.
Yep.
Why are they selling these if they don't want a box that sits underneath of it that has their name on it?
Right. And that's my point. I was at Best Buy on Saturday with the family. We were looking for a TV for upstairs. There was a couple, okay? They didn't speak a lick of English. All they kept saying to the guy in the blue shirt was 4K.
Yeah.
4K.
Everybody wants 4K.
So you can't say that 1080p is dead. 4K is the new buzzword. Everybody knows it. These people were in their 50s, and they were not from this country, and they were saying 4K. That's what they wanted, and you know what? They're the consumer. They should get what they want. So like you just said, why Sony making – my TV's also a Sony. It's a Sony TV. I mean, be like,
oh my God.
Exposed. How could he –
You have a Sony television in your house?
I can't have a Mooch television. I don't know what the hell. I mean, Microsoft isn't making them yet. So, I mean, anyway, so why wouldn't you do this? They have to go apples for apples. So now when you're a consumer and you're buying a TV and you're like, absolutely. Why don't you have what can I buy here that lets me play games and as a 4K player? Oh, the Xbox One. Oh, but we do have this small Panini grill over here, the PS4, that is $50 cheaper, but it doesn't play 4K.
I think that's what they're betting on. They're betting on that price gouging war.
I think they're going to lose it. I think
what happened, guys. I think what happened was Sony planned this out before anything, and Microsoft just had a step up. That's exactly what it is. Now, when the Neo comes out, it's got a beefier GPU in it, so you're gonna get better resolution on textures.
Every game's gonna have a Neo mode.
But
better graphics, guys. Better graphics.
I think Microsoft did an amazing job with getting that HDR10 in there, because that'll combat that whole beefier GPU thing, because the games are going to look absolutely magnificent in HDR.
Yeah, well, they are.
Better
but I mean,
graphics.
but don't you guys feel? And I really want to get GK.
Wait, the Neo has a beefier GPU than the Scorpio?
No.
No.
Then the One S. Then the One S.
Okay. I thought the Neo was their competitor to the Scorpio. It isn't.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people are saying. I see the One S and the Neo competing on a more level arena than putting the Neo up against the Scorpio, because that's just a beatdown waiting to happen.
I don't know. I think that the reason they're putting out this slim PlayStation 4 and they stripped it down and they're going for a low price point is because the Scorpio scared the shit out of them. And I do think that they're changing some things in the Neo. If you remember, everybody thought the PlayStation 4 was going to have 4 gigs of RAM. And right at the end, all of a sudden, whammo, 8 gigs GDDR5.
Well, to be fair, we look at it as right at the end, but in reality, it was something like 16 months out.
Right, but they do leave room for themselves. I mean, they do leave room for themselves.
At the same time, as someone who has the developer documents and the ones even as recent as last month, developers have...
Do you have the Lost Ark, too?
I wish.
Don't open it, man.
Here's the thing. If Sony wants to get, they're cocky. Look what they're doing. They raise prices on PlayStation Plus.
That's insane. I don't know. I can't believe that they went up $10 and
20 in Canada.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
so
I guess
look, they're cocky.
The OS is getting folders and 2-step verification, so maybe that's worth $10.
I mean, you can't even change your name yet, but
I know, I hate that. Jesus
But here's
Christ,
the thing:
man.
they're cocky enough to say, "Hey, if we get this thing out," and I think they have to get this out to better play VR, because developers are already saying, "Look, we can run VR on the regular PS4, but but for how long? Eventually, I think Sony wants everybody to upgrade to the Neo or whatever for VR, and I think that means that it has to come out this year. They could, I mean, if they launch it this year?
The Neo? You mean the Neo's launching?
Yeah, the Neo's gonna. Yeah,
so they're gonna launch the Slim and the Neo in the same year?
Yeah, and
PlayStation
VR. Yeah, and dude, they're having a big event. Like, from what I understand, they're trying to do like a big Apple type thing, right? Where there's even rumors. Yeah, there's even rumors that they're gonna show a new handheld as well.
Handheld.
Yeah, a new handheld.
Jesus Lord! Please don't let that happen.
Yeah, and also, they were supposed to announce all the PlayStation Now to Windows PCs and all that stuff as well, but that all leaked out. But the main thing is, Sony couldn't match what Scorpio's going to do this year or even early next year because the parts aren't available till the middle of next year. And so I think even though Microsoft's going to launch Scorpio late next year, it's going to be very hard to get one.
I will say that, and when I bought my Xbox One S, I remember Phil Spencer saying, when people were talking about the whole TV thing and the focus, he would always say, he's responsible. He's not dodging it. He was there for all the meetings. But I do think there's a difference between being at the table and having the loudest voice.
Yeah.
And I think now he has a loud voice, and I think the Xbox One S, I personally think it's the best console that they've made, period.
I agree.
And I love the 360, but I just think design-wise, and I'm not a big Windows fan, but I think the Surface design team helped a lot.
They made it. Yeah. They were the ones that made it.
In terms of the aesthetic and the way that the thing just looks, it is just beautiful.
It is.
So I'm hoping that this translates in. I mean, I know that it is, but I'm really hoping that the Scorpio just looks insane.
Well, you guys got to understand something. There's something like, you guys all watch, I know some of you watch Game of Thrones. There's the many-faced God, and then there's like this girl has no name. The Neo has no name. And let me say why.
It's Clint Eastwood.
It's lost.
It's the man with no name.
It's the man with no name. It's completely lost in translation. Now, Worry, you're a consumer. You walk in, you say, listen, I heard the Neo came out. What's the deal with it? Well, it's dead smack in the middle between what the Xbox One S, with the 4K streaming and 4K player capabilities, and then in 12 months you have the Scorpio coming out. Right. Why would you buy, even someone like yourself that usually says, listen, I work very hard. I'll spend my money how I want. Why even yourself? How are you, besides I can just do whatever I want because you're an adult and you have every right, why would you buy a Neo when realistically Sony just had an E3 where they showed you no games coming in 2017? The only games coming is Horizon that we know of, maybe Detroit. Other than that, all those other things you saw were, even Phil Spencer said, are 2018 plus. Yeah. So there's no sense in buying that, and you know that next fall you're going to have a Scorpio. There's no way you're not going to have a Scorpio if you're going to abide by your rules. So what I'm saying is, isn't Neo kind of lost right now? Why wouldn't you just enjoy your PS4, Xbox One S, and then get a Scorpio?
Are there going to be games developed exclusively for the Neo?
No.
There's going to be no games.
And the same thing goes for the Scorpio, according to Microsoft.
But I mean, if it has a stronger CPU and GPU, why wouldn't they just develop to this?
It doesn't have a stronger. Well, it has an overclocked CPU, but exactly the same CPU.
It's the same CPU.
You're talking about the Slim and not the Neo, right?
No, the Neo.
No, the Neo has the same CPU,
Same
the
CPU.
Jaguar, but
Yes.
just overclocked, and the same, and just
And that's the
yeah.
competitor to the Scorpio, you're saying?
Yes, and
Well,
that's why it's a huge problem.
That's
They
what
went
people are saying, man. I can't see it.
Hey, here's the thing. They went with a 0.5 console upgrade.
Mhm.
Microsoft went with a.
Well, they
you
had
know,
to. Microsoft had to. Microsoft
Yeah.
had to just swing and knock it out of the park. They had to spend money.
Well, I thought Crap was going to go down a different avenue when he was explaining, when Worry asked his initial question, when you were saying, well, why is this and why is Sony doing this and this? Here's the problem. Microsoft is coming out after Neo regardless. So if Sony goes back to the drawing board and Sony does make any tweaks, all Microsoft has to say is, that's awesome. You guys went there. We're going a little higher. They're not going to.
Yeah, the whole 6 teraflop thing. I've
Right.
read somewhere that it's really just. It's not 6 teraflops. It's more closer to 7.
Yeah.
So they're leaving. They're leaving a lot of room. I think they learned how to like put a fish, how to put a worm out on a hook
Right.
a little bit and dangle it.
I said that, Worry. I said, look, it's going to be foolish for people to believe that Microsoft learned nothing and they're just going to go, we got a 6 teraflop
I
thing.
hope they learned.
Yeah,
Sometimes I scratch my head and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Well,
and I
like
think they're
Recore
also
advertisement.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
but
don't get me
and
started.
hey, I got him on. I got on him for
Don't
that.
get me
Worry.
started.
I did a video about it. I said, hey, what are you thinking, Microsoft? But yeah, I think that I think with the whole like, yeah, it's going to be really expensive type thing. I think they're kind of setting up Sony on that one too, because Sony might be saying, hey, what if Scorpio is $700? Maybe we could get the Neo out there for $550. You know what I mean? And they're going to try to get as much money as they can this first year. But then Microsoft might just come out and go, hey, we're trying to capture large market. $399, $449, something along those lines. And they could really, because whatever happens, like Sony's going to have a year on the market with Neo, with no competitor as far as power.
Mhm.
And
But
so
you know Microsoft wants to get in people's homes, and here's my point to this. As Colin Moriarty educated us on the decreasing costs of plastic, okay, the PlayStation 4 Slim is probably going to retail for around $250.
I think it'll be right at that.
Yeah,
If
so
it's
$250
$199, then they're definitely looking.
absolutely.
hey, if
Just-
it's $199, game. Your favorite quote, game over,
Game
man.
over. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know about that.
No,
crap.
dude, I'm telling you. Look, so many people, like even people we know.
Microsoft's going to drop around the holidays at $250.
I know that, but you know who's going to buy one at $199? People like Jamie Moran, who doesn't have one.
Yeah.
People that the people that are just like, well, maybe I do want to play Uncharted 4 or the new God of War or whatever. I guarantee it. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to like light things up, because I think that Microsoft has a competitively priced. Who knows how long that fucking old school one's going to last? But apparently they got millions of those things packed away somewhere. They're going for like $200 and a Happy Meal, as you say. So
I mean, I guess I see what you're saying. I mean, price does seem to drive everything. That's just ignorant for me to say that that's not true.
I think it's going to be $250 to be fair, but
I do too. Yeah.
At $250. So I guess, but my point being was this, and it's going to lead into Scorpio, is that Microsoft put 4K streaming, 4K Blu-ray player into it. It's an utterly new design. Yada yada yada. It is about argue what you want, 7 to 11% better in CPU performance, etc. This and that frames per second. Hear me out. Microsoft at $299. If the PS4 Slim is $250, Microsoft ate some of that so we can get these things in people's homes. Because $299 is dirt cheap for, I think, that Xbox One S. I really do.
I mean, it's cheap for just a 4K Blu-ray player.
Yes, that's my point exactly. So what I'm saying is, I think I'm just proving your point. I think when Scorpio comes out, even if Scorpio hypothetically should be a $600-700 machine, it'll probably sell for $550 because Microsoft wants this thing in people's homes.
Mooch, here's the thing. There's a YouTuber, a group of YouTubers. I think they go by Good Old Gamer or something like that. That really, they like to break down hardware and stuff like that. And they've been looking into AMD and what AMD has been doing. Now, with the Scorpio, you have the Zen processor. I'm not sure what they're using for the GPU. I'm not sure if it's going to be Polaris 11 or if it's going to be the Vega. But they put in.
I have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I'm a big tech guy. I'm a big tech guy. That's why I love looking into this stuff.
Did
But
they confirm
broke it all
that?
down. They broke it all down, and they said they could literally make the Scorpio today for $400. They would sell it possibly at a loss, but with what AMD's doing in their new technology when it comes to the GPU and their new CPU and stuff like that, with getting greater performance off of smaller pieces of hardware and stuff like that, we're in a turning point on the tech side of things. All right, so thinking the old way and thinking this thing's going to be like $700 or stuff, it's going to be a $500 machine.
If they wanted to put out something with 6 teraflops for $700, they could do it this year. The reason why they're waiting is because these cheaper things are coming out next year.
Exactly.
You know, you have to remember too. I don't know if you guys were watching or not, but 37% of the sales for GameStop were based on that trade-up program.
Yeah.
Bringing in your system and getting the Xbox One S.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that when that Scorpio comes out, they're going to have something in place where you can just walk in with your old system and get a couple dollars off to
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mooch. That's why Mooch is getting 2 S's.
Well, that's my whole thing. So I had an Xbox. I had an Xbox One upstairs and downstairs, right? And so I said, wait a minute, I'm only going to get one. So I ordered the Gears one when it came out, and I'm sitting here, and then all of a sudden the tweet comes out: GameStop is going to be offering the 150 trade-in all month. And I'm sitting there and I go, I've got a 3-year-old day one sitting here. This thing could last me 3 more years or 3 more minutes. I said, for $150. Now hear me out. Tell me if this is still logical. I took it in. I got 150. I took 150 out of pocket. Came home with an Xbox One S for upstairs. Next year, sure as shit, if my old 3-year Xbox One Fat got me 150 trade-in, there's no way the S is not going to get me at least my money back. I'll get 150. So I'm going to put it towards that. So I'll keep my Gears one because, Microsoft's nobody will be left behind. That whole speech, that's fine. So I'll have an Xbox One S. Well, yeah, I don't. Like, Xbox One S will be in one room, and then my main gaming room will be the Project Scorpio. And I just look, if it makes dollars, it makes sense. If it makes sense to you numerically, you also have to have the $150 to burn. I'm not telling people to go sell things in their homes or have an immediate garage sale to do this. But I mean,
Jamie Morant just tweeted. He goes, "I already have a bathroom scales." When I mentioned about him getting a PS4 Slim.
Yeah, when you said that, I figured he was going to say that. I don't even think he'll get it at that point.
But people will. I mean, like I see people on my timeline go, "Well, if it's $199, I'll get it." I want to play Uncharted or whatever.
Well, that's a great segue, into what was the Recore discussion that was a couple days ago. Is this like
GKB
I'm going to buy it?
GKB and Mooch really got into it.
Well, that was more the advertising. I agreed with what I think is not happening. What's not happening is what's Recore and how come nobody knows about it? GKB, get into it a little bit.
About Recore or the marketing
what's
part?
Pissing you off about it? I mean,
get in there, man.
Just tell us about it.
Just tell me about it already.
You woke him up. He was like, "Damn, I haven't talked in 35 minutes."
GKB anyway.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. Like when we were going back and forth, I was just like, I want to see, and just like other gamers want to see, like more IPs turn into more franchises and just have more stuff to play, different stuff to play than what we've seen currently in this generation. So I'm just like on the side of why can't Microsoft move a little bit of money around? Because I know like Mooch, you're in what you're in, and I'm in, and we see like businesses do this all the time, move money around to pay this, pay that, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Is just I see what your like grassroots thing we're saying, like, let's go to YouTube and let's hit the internet and all that kind of stuff. But at the same point, like your point was like nobody knows what this is. Well, how can they, let anybody know what this is if they're not doing shit about it, right? So let's take some of that money. Let's push this out there. Let's not have another Sunset Overdrive. Let's not have another Quantum Break. Let's get behind these new IPs and let's push them to the forefront. Because I think Gears, doesn't really need that much marketing at this point. From what we've seen already, I think that thing's going to sell like hotcakes, and they don't.
Wow,
really need that much.
And I hate promoting IGN, but my God, that was a great fucking first take today that came out.
They're the only ones getting any of the exclusive footage. That's why.
Yeah, you got to go to IGN if you want to see it, but it looks stellar.
When it comes to Recore, we got to also think about Microsoft's expectations of that title in terms of its advertising.
You sound like Randall No Show from Wednesday.
Hey,
and tonight.
But that's what it is. If they have a certain number that they feel, I know Aaron Greenberg came out on Twitter and said that they have a great digital promotion type thing that's going to be going on with Recore. And stuff like that. I do see what you're saying, GKB. I just think that this game's coming out the same year that Gears is coming out. Gears is really shining, and they want to show that to as many people. You got to remember casual market as well. All right, they're going to throw Gears into the casual market's face constantly for how gorgeous that game looks, and it's Gears.
Well, yeah, I get that for sure, man. But here's the thing, like. with the new IPs we've already seen, we're not like supporting those IPs, and I think a lot of the reason we're not supporting those IPs is because we're not getting them in front of the casual market and in front of everybody else, telling them what they are and what they're about and showing them properly. And I think that's part of the problem. And in order for them to do that, I'm not saying that they need to take a ton of money and raise the price on Recore. I think they can do it smartly by moving some money around and not even affect the price of Recore and still give it a better showing, honestly.
I definitely see what you're saying, but when it comes to new IPs and stuff like that, they did put a lot of money behind Sunset Overdrive, and unfortunately that didn't sell. And you got to look at it from
Overdrive, Quantum Break. Go out and buy these games when they come out.
Yeah, definitely. I have them all. They're absolutely great titles.
Out there.
Why the fuck do you need marketing dollars? Everybody who owns an Xbox that fucking has green sneakers on every freaking day knows Recore's coming out, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But I mean, not every Xbox fan is a hardcore like us that knows everything that's coming out, right? Some of them are casual too.
But everybody talks about exclusives and experiences and having something that's unique. And then if you don't buy it, then you're not going to get it.
Well, that same shit happened to PS3 gamers last gen.
Exactly.
Everything was a fucking day one buy, and none of the motherfuckers day one bought shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Although I do have to say, shout out to the Twitter Xbox community, because with all this going on and not a lot of promotion for Recore in terms of being out there, the Xbox Twitter community has taken it upon themselves, and they are constantly like sharing the Recore game, saying, "Hey guys, support this, $40," putting it out there, showing.
Recore sent out the tweet. They're like favorite if you've already got your pre-ordered your copy. Share if you haven't, so others know. I'm like, oh my god, that's some.
I'm excited for the game.
I am too.
I am. Well, I think it's going to be. Listen, here's the thing, though. Whoever it was, I can't remember if it was GKB or Xbot that said it, but the point is what is Microsoft's expectations here? Because they're already releasing this thing at $40, so they're trying to get it in people's homes. I think they're trying to keep this thing a low-budget success, the same way Ori was. I mean, Ori was not promoted all over the place. It wasn't hanging from Times Square. Nobody saw it just what dangling in front of people. It wasn't during an NFL game that they had Ori bouncing across the screen, but it did very well. It did very well. And I think that was because of the price point. I think Microsoft's trying to say, hey, maybe we can make Recore into something that is a franchise of ours, but we've got to get into people's homes. And we just said it a few minutes ago, everybody. Crap, you're the first one that said it. PS4 Slims, $199. People who hate PlayStation will buy it. Well, maybe for $40, people really will make that conversion.
Here's the thing, though. PlayStation fans don't buy Xbox. They'll just play it on PC. Well, as is to my understanding.
I meant Xbox fans.
Oh, yeah.
Now buy it.
Xbox
well,
fans.
pretty soon, those Xbox fans that have that thing with Sony, they'll be able to play PS4 games on the PC as well. So.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that is true. So, but it's different because it's only PS3 games. Well, for right now.
No. See, here's the thing, and I was saying this before. When it comes to that whole thing, I'll just throw this out here real quick. They're coming out with a wireless adapter for the DualShock 4, right?
That sounds familiar. I thought Xbox did that.
No, they're doing it for PlayStation now. But hold on 1 second. Full functionality for the DualShock 4. That's including touchpad and light bar for the PC. No PS3 game uses the touchpad and the light bar. So for people that are living off in La La Land somewhere thinking PlayStation 4 games aren't coming to PC, if that was the case, they wouldn't have that full functionality on the DualShock 4 for PC. I'm just letting people know that right now. So they can keep living in dreamland or whatever, but PS4 games are going to PC.
Well, yeah, it makes sense. That's their only business now. They have to get that to as many people as possible, and I doubt that they release them day and date, but I could see them definitely putting, the PS4 games on there, because who wants to play, if you're a PC gamer, a lot of the stuff on that service came to PC already. You can just pirate it or get it for $1.50 off Steam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the only reason why that service would be a success on PC would be if people want to play some of these PlayStation exclusives that they hadn't had a chance to before. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's always the double standard. Now it's not a big deal that it's going to PC because it's Sony. That's fine. Before it was Xbox done. How they ever?
Xbox is always done, bro.
It's always done, no matter what. They're over. They're selling it. Amazon's going to buy them next week. It's utter nonsense. But I mean, we're all buying Recore. I think the game's going to do fine. I think that what Rand said on Wednesday was true, that even if you were to get a smaller, the number, let's say they sell 500,000. Usually 1 million's the milestone, but because this game was so low budget, 500,000, 500,000 being sold is going to be technically a success.
Well, me and Rand were talking probably 250,000 would be considered a success.
It's feasible. I mean, we don't know what their actual out-of-pocket was, but yeah, I guess you could say that.
I mean, I can't imagine. Armature's a small studio. I doubt they cost, and it was written by Joseph Staten, who's a staff at Microsoft Studios. So, I mean, Microsoft is publishing it. There's no advertising. I can't imagine that this game was a huge production like Sunset Overdrive or, what the hell is that other game that flopped, Quantum Break?
Yeah, I'd really be interested to know the Quantum Break numbers. I don't think that flopped nearly as bad.
Well, look, I'm not talking about floppy. Like, it might have sold $1 million or $1.5 million, but with the 80 to $100 million budget,
yeah,
like that's what I'm talking about. Like, they probably needed to sell $5 million easy.
Do you guys think that game would have been just fine if they didn't do the Hollywood aspect and they just did like like the way that Uncharted 4 does their cutscenes? If they just did cutscenes with actors instead of doing all that. I mean, those were big explosions. That was a Hollywood movie. That was movie production.
You have to remember when that was announced, what Microsoft was going for. Remember,
right.
Like they were like, we would have had a Gears show, a Forza show, a Rise show. You know what I mean? Like they were going for like everything. We would have had that Halo Steven Spielberg show by now. Which apparently is still on.
Man. I am still waiting for that.
I'm still waiting.
Hey, I liked it. There was a little Rise thing on like Machinima or whatever. That was pretty good at the time. They think they could have done like a Dead Rising show or something. I don't know, but like it would like most of us watch entertainment and games, so I never understood the backlash for that shit to begin with. But and apparently it's perfectly okay for Sony to advertise and do that shit. But what are you gonna do?
Speaking of things Sony had and Microsoft will get, and I'm gonna ask where did you get a chance to play The Witness on PS4?
I did.
So it's rumored to be coming sometime in September
23rd.
It's not rumored; it's confirmed.
So it's confirmed
23rd.
now.
Yeah.
What was your take on The Witness, and do you recommend it?
I think if you're Italian, you shouldn't play it because you know how we feel about witnesses.
Exactly.
Best answer of the night, yeah.
It was.
It's one of those the artsy fartsy games where you have to really appreciate level design and the aesthetics and the puzzles, and you don't really know what the hell's going on until
it's Journey. It's Journey with a puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, I never finished it. I'm not going to go out there and tell you that I know what the game is about, but it's basically if you ever played what's the game where you play? It's on the Xbox. You play as the god. You wake up and you solve the puzzles.
Yeah. It's one of the first Unreal 4 engine games.
Yeah.
Numa.
Breath of Life. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's that type of a game. Right.
Okay. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, you guys. I know.
$40. God.
Crap.
Is it still going to be
Crab
40?
wants guns and footballs.
Give me guns and
yeah.
footballs. No, I mean, is it going to be $40? Is it going to be $40?
I don't know how much it's going to cost.
I wonder if that's going to be still I mean, I think it wasn't it 60? I thought on PlayStation.
No, it was 40.
It was 40.
No, it's 40.
I think, yeah.
And it was pirated by 90% of PC gamers or whatever.
Well, that's actually a low rate for PC. 90%.
Well, for those that don't know, Jonathan Blow is the guy that made that game, right? Me and him got into it.
I love that name.
Me and him got into it on Twitter originally. He was like, Microsoft threatened me. They said they ruined my life. I hate Microsoft. They're lying about cloud. They don't have no hundreds of thousands of dedicated servers for Xbox. They're using this. It's impossible. Blah blah blah. So me and him went back and forth on Twitter, and people wrote articles about it. I'm like, this is a developer who's saying that there's no such thing as cloud computing or cloud anything. You know what I mean? Like, think about that for a minute. And then he's saying that flat out that Microsoft threatened him and stuff like this. I was like, this guy's a fucking insane. And now all of a sudden, the game is coming to the Xbox. Imagine that. You know?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I think that what other game now? We have this. We know No Man's Sky is probably coming to the Xbox as well.
Yeah.
That's rumored now.
Hey, I would never buy that game unless they turned in, like I said, if they put just like a exploration mode where you don't have to mine or anything.
Yeah,
and you just
I would buy it then.
Yeah, like I said, and I said that originally because Warrior, you remember, I used to talk to you. I'm like, well, what's the point of the game? And you're like, explore.
he said I used to talk to you.
Yeah, you know, we used to talk, and then I was like, explore. That game looks so good, and I'm like,
And then I went into witness protection program.
Yeah. You're like, my best guess is you're the one that found that Earth-like planet. I just assume that's what your day job
I'm
is,
surprised
so.
you're up on that. I'm surprised you knew that happened. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I'm a science nerd.
Okay, cool.
That's great.
I just don't believe in aliens, but
I think what you should do, Crap, is you should buy Warrior an Xbox onesie. That'll just make up for old times.
Yeah, extra small.
Yeah.
Where did this thing come from? Is this a Microsoft product?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Go
It's
figure.
expensive as shit too.
Hey, did you see you can import them, but they were giving some away yesterday.
The choice was, should we spend money on advertising Recore or make onesies?
Yeah, for real.
I think they made
the
right
whole
choice.
thing with the onesie is the onesie would look really good with that Xbox certified thing, right? That icon that Jay will right on the back of it. I think that's what would sell it. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that onesie is gonna look like the MC Hammer pants in 2 years.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not having a girl come over and I'm gonna have the Xbox onesie on. It's not happening.
It's probably not going to work. Yeah, it's probably not going to work out. But let's talk some games for a little bit here. We'll discuss that. Anybody now? I know Xbot, you're playing it, and GKB. Let me start with GKB. What's your take on Deus Ex? Because there's a lot of people saying it's awesome, and there's a lot of people saying it's all right. So I mean, where do you guys kind of sit?
I'm on the part of it's awesome. I'm enjoying the story. It's fantastic. I like the choices you get to do. But I have to say, these goddamn hack things is pissing me the hell off. Like,
frustrating.
They've always been like that.
Dude, use
Like
the
that,
software. Use the reveals. Use the stealths. Use the software. When you're hacking,
I mean,
dude.
I do. I'm just terrible at them, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is. I mean, sometimes I'll get them like right off the bat, and then other times I'm like dying 15 times because I started the alarms and everything else. I mean, everybody's watched me on the streams like die a million times already. But as far as the story and the gameplay and everything, it's fantastic. The controls I feel are a little wonky. Not that they don't work, but the button config and stuff, I just don't like it.
You can change that, you know.
Yeah, I changed it through them. Like Breach seems to be the best one that I like, but
Yeah.
I don't like where crouch and stuff is.
I
like
was
it
trying not to
buttons.
kill people, and then I accidentally fucking pushed the wrong button and was just.
I know, right? I know. That's what I was doing too, man.
Welcome
like,
to
oh,
Deus
wow.
Ex. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched Deus Ex in 5 minutes on IGN. You know how they do that little because I've never played any of them, and I watched it and I was like, I'm actually more confused now than I did before I started.
Well, you know what they
the
do,
story
Mooch?
at all.
If you get Deus Ex, the new one, there's a 12-minute
12-minute
recap
video. Yeah.
Right.
I heard that was done very well.
It is. It's really good, actually.
It explains things pretty well, because I don't remember shit about the last Deus Ex. So
I got you. Well, see, here's the thing.
augmented people and stuff.
Yeah. Well, this Mankind Divided. I think it's an awesome game. It's one of those games where the side missions can be as intricate as the main story.
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
All right. But here's the thing, though, and I was talking to our boy Clowns about this in a DM, and the thing is, if you didn't like Human Revolution, or if Human Revolution for some rhyme or reason confused you, you're not gonna like Mankind Divided. It's basically it's like Human Revolution on steroids. All right, and it's a lot of picking and choosing what you're saying to people, opening up the side missions. There's a lot of conspiracy in the main story. As soon as you think you got something figured out, oh, this is the group, these are the people we're going after, there's a twist.
Yeah.
Always. This is a Deus Ex thing. All right, so for people who aren't kind of used to the franchise or whatever, this is what they do. You'll think you have it down pat who you're going after, and it'll change. All right, it's a multi-layered story. It's one of those things that you either get thoroughly immersed in, or you're just like, nah, it's pretty good.
What was that?
A good comparison is kind of like BioWare games, like Dragon Age and all that kind of stuff. We're choosing the different things, and those outcomes affect like later on down the stories and stuff like that.
I would like Deus Ex if there was a third-person mode.
Dude, I was actually thinking, it was funny.
Yeah.
I was thinking that last night. I was like, man, because when you do go into cover, you do go into like that.
Yeah, it reminds me of Escape from Butcher Bay that way. Like
I thought it was third person.
No, it's first person.
Huh.
Like when you climb up and stuff, up a ladder, it goes into third person, or if you crouch.
Escape
Yeah,
from Butcher
crouch.
Bay was phenomenal.
That's what I'm saying. Where
Fantastic.
Escape from Butcher Bay was amazing. That was one of my favorite. That was one of the huge original Xbox games that I loved. That was
coming
just
from
wow.
coming from the outside looking in. It reminds me of like if you took Sleeping Dogs and you smashed it with Metal Gear Solid 5. It's like that's I don't know. For me, it's confusing. I'm seeing so many.
I could definitely see that comparison.
There's too many aspects of the game. They're like, hey, if you want to stealth, you stealth. You want to blow stuff up, you blow stuff up. You
Sleeping Dogs was great. I loved that game.
Sleeping Dogs was it was okay. It was okay.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
A lot of people did. No, a lot of people thought it was no pun intended, a sleeping success. Like it just did really, really well. But I mean, so it sounds like from what I'm picking up from all the agreeing here is all of you have Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, so you've played it for. I would assume you've all played it for about.
I played it for a
10
couple.
hours.
I played it for a couple because I've been busy. But yeah.
Well, what do you guys think?
I've gotten lost into the side missions, man.
Do you
That's kinda
recommend?
weird.
Do you recommend it? Do you like it? Will you finish it?
If you, I mean, I'll probably get around to it if something doesn't come out. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming
There's
up.
a lot of stuff coming.
Yeah,
up.
so I mean, but look, it is like if you like those type of games, like the stealth and that kind of thing, then I think that you'll really like it. But you know, for me, you know, it wasn't a game that I was going to like buy. You know, if I wouldn't have been able to kind of do it the way I got it, I wouldn't have bought it. But since I game share or whatever, you know, I got it. So
Worry, what's your take on it? Are you enjoying it? How far into it are you?
Yeah, I played it for a few hours. I mean, it's a single player's game. It's a game that has a lot of meat to it. There's a lot to do. You use your augments. They're called augments, and you're an augmented human, and you can develop your augments. You can use things like tracking, and you can mark targets. You have vision.
Do you get all the augments? Do you get all the augments?
You don't.
At the beginning.
You don't.
Okay.
You get a few, and then you can customize. You can upgrade. There's multiple paths through every level. You don't have to run and gun. You can, but it's not really. It doesn't feel like it's.
You don't even have to kill the bosses. You
don't even have to kill them. Yeah, it's. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all about choice. If you like to just go into an area and say, what can I do here? You activate your vision. You can see different things that you can interact with. And you can go above, you can go below, you can go straight
Or
in.
you have a sleeping dart gun, or
Exactly,
like
right,
a taser that's non-lethal. You just have to be careful because when you go to like fight people or whatever, if you push the wrong button, you'll accidentally kill them. Like that was my problem.
There's so many games coming out this fall that I'll be honest with you. She-Wolf just called me out in the chat and I said you got me red-handed. I was trying just today alone.
I love the game.
I did like a bunch of games. I was like, these are the games I can't wait for. And Jez was like, he just wrote, Jez Gordon from Windows Central goes, Mooch, Deus Ex. And I go, do you have an extra copy that Windows Central got that you can send to me? And he's like, no, I wish I did. I don't. And then I tried Larry Herb. I tried to do his Free Code Fridays. I mean, here's my take. We're all going to be buying. I think I'm on the hook for probably around 10, maybe more games this. Well, now with Below not going to be one of them. About 10 games this fall to pick up. That's a large task to fill. So I figured, you know what, Deus Ex was never really on my radar. But it's funny when people keep playing it and playing it and playing it. It does kind of warm you up to being like, maybe this is a game that I didn't think I was going to like, and I actually do like. So I don't know. Maybe it is something.
You would probably like it because there's difficulty settings. I play on the easy one, but you'd probably love like the tougher one.
Well, I do prefer to play games on the harder level. I did play, like I played Doom. I beat Doom on the hardest level, and I thought that was quite challenging. I mean, there's other people who are like, oh no, it was a breeze. I mean, I thought the last two major enemies. By the way, shout out to Doom for a second. It's $19.99. If you don't own Doom, go buy it. It's $20. It'll be the best $20 you spent in a long time.
You just brought up that bad memory, Mooch.
What'd I do?
Okay, well, because, dude, remember, I ordered this shit on the 18th, right?
Yeah.
Amazon has still not sent it to me, right? I still don't have my stuff that I ordered from the 18th.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not a Prime member, right? So, but still, I spent like $300 on shit, right? You'd figured they said 3 to 5 days, and here we are, like. Shit. Yeah, 3 to 5. Now it's fucking 9 days later, and I still don't got my shit. And then so I've complained about 6 times, and so finally, just now, like today, this afternoon, does it say shipped?
Jesus. Okay, so it is coming. It's en route.
Yeah, because I'm like here I am seeing fucking Doom everywhere for $20, and yeah, I did order the collector's edition because it was on sale for like 45 or something. So
Nice.
I'm really stoked about that. But I'm like, shit, man, if I had fucking known that I'd be waiting 2 weeks for this shit, I had bought this stuff for myself as a hey, congrats on 25,000 subscribers, and now I'm fucking a fifth of the way to 26,000. You know what I mean? Like Jesus Christ.
Right.
Let's get these fucking things shipped out on time. I realize that I only ever buy maybe 3 or 4 things from Amazon a year, so that's why I'm not a Prime member, right? Like, there's no reason.
Right.
But
I mean,
I've never been a Prime member, and
Listen.
they used to get me my shit on time, you know?
I'm pretty much, and maybe it's because of our age, I'm a brick and mortar guy still. I still like walking into a store going, give me that, and then I
couldn't
walk
get the
out
Elgato
with it.
that way. Nobody
You know?
has an Elgato, and that collector's edition is $120 at GameStop.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? If they
I'm
had it
still
on
super
sale
jelly
for
over that
$45.
HD60S from you, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
my
Like,
goodness.
I know, right? I was like, I'm gonna improve my my Sony
thing's-
bashing videos
That thing's
by doing.
absolutely amazing. You were
I
gonna
can
love it.
bash Sony at 60 frames per second now. You know, if only they had an exclusive that went that high, right? Am I right? Come on,
Wow.
Dang.
come on. Where's
Shots fired.
There we go.
Very nice. Very. You know, a little side story for everybody. You know, everybody has to know Jamie Moran. Jamie had ordered Deus Ex, and his
Poor
the
guy.
guy
Oh.
and the mail. I'll say the mail. You know, whoever their mail is over in England, the mailman delivered his game to his neighbor's house. And then his neighbor went on vacation for 2 weeks the next day, and by the time he found out that it was delivered to the wrong house, he's like, "I go, Jamie,
That's a
I
shitty
missed."
neighbor right there, though. I
You
don't
know,
know
if he calls Amazon, they might give him a code for the
Ooh,
game,
yeah.
like a
Jamie,
digital code.
listen to what Crap's saying. Actually, you might want to call because that is true. Didn't that happen to you, Crap, with a different game?
Yeah, it was Uncharted 4. I had
Yep.
ordered it was Uncharted 4. I ordered the collector's edition, and I was like, cool. I had ordered it way in advance, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get that the day the game releases because that's what happens, right? Nope.
Right.
I fucking look and it's like, oh, you'll get it in like 2 weeks, and I was like, fuck. Are you kidding me? So I like call them up and complain, and they're like, okay, well, here's the download code for the game, and you know, blah blah blah, and we'll still send you the game or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, that kind of fucking sucked. But you know what really sucks about Amazon is I can't understand the people on the other line most of the time. They're like
You
they're
mean Frank or Steve or
yeah, or John or fucking Alice, and they sound like they're yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm like, what? I'm always going, can you repeat that? What? Well, I must sound like I'm fucking retarded or something because I'm always going, what? What? Okay, yeah. I'm like, shit. Can you give me a recording of this so I know what the hell was said?
Well, the thing is, though, see, Jamie Moran put this tweet out, I guess, and I was at work when he had said it. I saw what he said, but I really didn't. I just didn't sit there to comprehend it. I was like, okay. So later on that night, Jamie's like, he goes, I own it and I can't play it. And I wrote to him, I go, this was last night. I go, Jamie, why can't you play it? He goes, it's 20 feet away from me and I can't. And I'm like, why? And he goes, oh, you must have missed it. And then everybody on Twitter filled in the gap that it was next door. And I go, Jamie, is this the neighbor that constantly sings and drives you mad? And he's like, that very same one. Of course, he did it in GIF format, which is even funnier. But yeah, Jamie, try to get that, you know, from Amazon or whoever you ordered it from. Maybe it was Game. I think you ordered it from Game, though. I thought he said, which is GameStop, basically, over in England. But, you know, I want to go on to another subject real quick, and that is Sony's, what is it there? The strikes that they're doing against YouTubers. Crap, can you fill us in a little bit on that? Just because that's really, even though I and GKB do it, I know that you've been meddled with in the past. And what is this they're doing to people? And do they have the means to really do it legally?
Well, what they're doing is they're giving like copyright strikes, which, you know, there's content things like, okay, like I have a couple of Nintendo videos up that Nintendo gets the money for that, right? They're still up. I can have them up. It's just whatever revenue comes in for those Nintendo gets, right? So that's basically how that works. Now, a copyright strike means that Sony or whoever is claiming that they own everything, and if you get one strike, you can't do Google Hangouts, you can't do a video longer than 15 minutes. It really is a hindrance, and so basically Sony is going around trying to plug the leaks regarding their slim console, and which is ridiculous to begin with. And they actually went out and copyright strike a lot of like pro PlayStation channels that were talking about it, you know. And so it's really unfortunate, especially for a company that claims to be 4 players and stuff like that. You know, just if you had like a picture or whatever up, that they would do that. I think it's unfortunate. And the only time
I don't think they have legal bearing though.
well, they can because, or you know, by the time people, because this is how it works.
Crap.
Okay. I didn't know if it was my headset or what.
Listen, I'll tell you. You know, the funny thing about it,
Barney Rubble 77 is like trying to mess up the podcast. Portal Rock from last night.
No, you know the thing is, listen, I'll be honest with you. Well, Worry was having a hard time getting back into. That's if anyone's watching, wondering where Worry went. Worry's been writing me saying he's having a hard time getting in. Crap, did you get booted?
Hey, yeah, I accidentally fucking hit my thing or whatever. But
that's all right.
Yeah, so what the hell was I saying?
I asked you if they had a legal binding to being able to strike these channels because these leaks came from Sony ships a product out, right? Then that product gets mishandled. You can't. Why are you striking somebody who's just taking a picture and talking about it? That person has no. They didn't sign an NDA.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah, but still, it's Sony's product. Not only that, but here's the thing, Sony. They did this, right? And then you can actually fight it. Anybody that copyright strikes you can fight. And then it'll take 10 business days. By the time that shit gets up, that'll be revealed, and they're going to take back the strikes anyway.
Right.
But I mean,
you see what I'm saying?
It's shady shit to begin with because like when No Man's Sky was coming out, they were striking everybody. Now they're striking everybody for the leaks. It's just shit. Like Microsoft, you know, all their shit got leaked, and Crap said this on his podcast as well. And you know they didn't strike anybody. So what the hell, Sony? Like, why are you doing this? And a lot of these YouTubers that they were striking count on YouTube for the revenue. That's their daily job, man. And that's just ridiculous, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it really is. I thought it was a really shitty thing. The other thing is, let's be honest, what do we always say? We like to see games come out and be handed to the reviewers a week or 2 weeks in advance so that they can play it and blah, blah, blah. It also shows confidence on the developers, shows confidence on the publisher, blah, 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 blah. Here's Sony again. They did it with No Man's Sky, and they did it again with PS4 Slim. They have no confidence in this thing. Why wouldn't you want free people, free publication of people talking about your product? Because it's an ugly, useless item. It is. I'm telling you, if you're in the mood for a PS4, go get a PS4 today version. It looks better. It probably runs better. That thing that's smushed.
And it has an optical.
And it has an optical. And this thing looks like it's going to be a heat trap. I mean, in all honesty, the heat sinks are. You smushed down something that was already a fucking parallelogram. Yeah. How the hell? My whole point is that this is bad. This is bad for Sony.
Hey, let me say something real quick that to the point that I made on Wednesday, because Jamie Moran tweeted this out. When the leaks happened with the Xbox One S and their whole fucking E3, like days and weeks in advance, Microsoft didn't hit anybody with any kind of thing, right? They sent out a fucking emoji tweet like, oh, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? I ran with pictures of the Slim. Zaire ran with pictures of the Slim. Nothing happened. Right. Could you imagine if they tried, though? If they did that, like the media, everybody would be all over them, how evil they are. But yet Sony can sit there and hit people with strikes on Twitter even. Remember? People are like, oh, shit, delete any pictures of this thing that you have on Twitter because they'll hit you with a fucking strike, and then you're gone from Twitter. When that shit happens, you're gone. You know,
it just shows you that there's a problem, there's a disconnect. Let's also discuss the fact that not Andrew House, pardon me, Adam Boyce has left, Jack Trenton left. There's a lot of people that were their connections in gaming. They don't have that anymore. Sean Layden doesn't play games, doesn't really react well to that. Andrew House has nothing. You could see he has no. When he held up the PlayStation 4 at the reveal, when they revealed it. It looked like he just saw it himself for the first time. He's like, here it is. Hold on, let me look at it. That looks decent. You know, it's almost like
that looks decent.
That looks decent. That's not bad. You know,
have you ever seen that picture? He doesn't look very happy at all.
He looks miserable.
Yeah.
He looks miserable. And I mean, listen, the tides are changing. You've got a great product out there in the Xbox One S. You've got Scorpio coming in 12 to 15 months away. It's really Xbox's turn to step on the gas, and I know. Okay, listen, October is going to be an interesting month with Neo, PSVR releasing, and then also on Microsoft's side, Gears of War 4. Realistically, I still think Microsoft's going to, because of the momentum. I think it's going to push what would be a very close tie. People are saying, no, new hardware always wins. In this case, I don't think so because it's going to be a more expensive piece of hardware. Plus, everybody's buying either an S or, according to everybody and some of the people on this panel, so a lot of people are going to be buying PS4 Slims. If that's the case, then you've got a situation where people already spent their hardware money. I don't think they're going to go and buy a Neo. So I think Xbox is going to win the rest of this, the rest of 2016 pretty much flat out because there's no software coming on Sony's part.
Well, not only that, Mooch, too, you also got to factor in, I mean, I know we don't like it personally, but PlayStation VR as well. I mean, that's like a $400 or $500 thing right there. So if you already got a PS4, you know, and you are interested in the PSVR, you're going to get that over anything else. So, I mean, you got to factor that in there, too.
Well, the PSVR, according to Sony, does work with their vanilla system.
Right,
So,
but I mean, I'm just talking about like dollars and cents kind of
Oh,
thing. Like, are they going to
yes.
spend it on the Neo or are they going to spend it on PSVR? Like,
You can meet your friends on Mount Kilimanjaro with PlayStation
That's right.
VR. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Or we can go see
Grasslands of Ireland.
Yes,
I want to
or
be. I
me
want
and
to
Crap.
be. I'm gonna,
Well, I wanted to go. I wanted to go see just a Suicide Squad. I could watch it with Crap in my own house.
exactly. I mean,
Right,
that's how it goes. We're just going to be like,
Hey,
hey,
listen.
what's going on? We're
It
stick
is-
figures, but it's great.
Listen, I got news for you. Experiences are experiences, and I think actually, to be honest with you, I think GKB just made a hell of a point. I think more current PlayStation 4 owners would opt more to get a PSVR than a Neo because they know that there's nothing coming out. First thing Murray said tonight, first thing everyone said when they come on a new podcast, what do they always say all the time? Oh, what games are coming out for Neo? And we're like, nothing. And it's like, oh, well, then I'm not buying it. Like, I don't, that's the first thing everyone keeps saying. Well, no, there's going to be, whatever. COD's going to have a Neo mode. Who cares? I'm not going to go spend $500. COD, you can't make COD look any better. Who gives a shit? If it's 60
That
frames
old-ass
per
engine, man.
yeah, it's old as shit. So it's like nothing's coming out until Horizon. So yeah, people might opt to go PSVR, and that's still a niche group.
Right.
So that being said, I really think Microsoft has the W here, and what do you guys think? I mean, I'm going to wrap up here, guys, just for multiple reasons. First of all, your buddy the Mooch is a little under the weather. I don't know if anyone can tell my voice. And secondly, Crap's doing a very difficult back-to-back podcast, which I'll let him do a little shout-out because the gentleman that you're going on that show, he's been following me for a while, and he's a very, very big fan of our show and Xbox Nation and BGST. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. But let's go through some closing remarks here. Crap, why don't you plug a little?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing this podcast called Keep It Raw podcast, and it's going to be simulcast on Beam. And then what they do is they usually take the audio from it and then splice it together later and put it up on a site to download and stuff like that. But it will be going live on Beam at the same time. And it's like we are going to be talking a little bit of games. That's why I'm there. But there's also a lot of other topics. But these guys that started it, one of the guys used to be in an Xbox podcast with Tim Dog. And then he left to do his own thing because he's a fan of like Stern and all that stuff, and he wanted to do his own kind of like no holds barred, no pussy stuff podcast. So
Nice.
he started doing it. So and I listen to like that kind of stuff when I'm at work, because I got a lot of time to like listen to different shit. And so I was like, yeah, man, I like their show. And so he's like, hey, you want to come on? And I was like, hell yeah. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll tweet out the link and stuff like that after it comes out. But yeah, that's gonna be it's gonna be coming up probably around 8:30.
Very cool. I'll definitely be listening, too. I want to support them. GKB, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Oh, man, we got the, first off, it's fantastic being on CrossFire, my friend.
Thank you for being on, GKB.
Yeah, no problem. I got the Shop podcast tomorrow. We also got an awesome interview with the developer for the Hue game. We're going to go live and ask him a bunch of questions, talk about this great indie game that has to do with colors and stuff like that. It's really is a good game. And then Console Corner, and then back on Xbox Nation. We also got Community Game Night. Big shout out to Shoe Wolf. She's part of the Gamers Knows Best and all
She's
that.
banned from this show.
But yeah, that's what we got going on, brother.
No girls allowed.
Oh, stop it. I did an entire show with
Yeah, you
ladies. I respect them very, very much. Xbot 448, what are we getting from you this weekend?
Well, of course, you have the next podcast, which is on every Saturday at 6 p.m. We have a special guest coming this Saturday. PTK Blam will be joining us on next podcast. I'm really
Very
excited
nice.
for that. Real intelligent gamer. I love having discussions with him on the couple times that I've been on the Shop. I'm a big fan of the Shop podcast, so it's really cool to have him on. Other than that, my channel, Xbot448, everything Xbot448 across the board. You want to add me on Xbox Live, check out my channel. Every once in a while, like Twitch stream, stuff like that. It's all Xbot448.
Well, I want to take a few seconds to thank Worry Wart. He could not get back on, but it's really nice. Worry was one of the, for some of you that know of the name but don't know who Worry is, Worry was on BGST with Crap, myself, Tim Dog Showstopper, and of course Zaire. We had a heck of a run there with all of us, and it was awesome. And I believe Worry's work schedule, he travels a shit ton. But I talk to Worry a lot on Xbox
He's always
Live.
finding new planets and shit. That's what he does.
He's very busy with new planets. Yeah. I talk to him a lot on Xbox Live. He'll pop into a chat of mine, or we just go back and forth in the DMs, and we're always talking. I just said to him,
password is shemale.
Yes, that is the password.
Always shemale.
He literally said, so I said, I've been asking him for a while. I said, why don't you come on? Why don't you come on? And usually he's like, I can't. I'm not home. I'm not there. Yesterday he goes, you know what? Send me the link. And I was like, holy shit, that's pretty cool. So it's always nice to hear Worry's perspective on games. He knows it's always an open door policy. He's always welcome back onto Crossfire. I want to thank him for that. I also want to say shout out to Rand and Southbound and Clowns, Dryer, which it's hard for some of these guys. They have multiple podcasts. In Dryer's case, it's like 5 a.m. It's just
5
hard for
a.m.
some
in
of
hell.
And shout out to Clowns. He's going through some family stuff, but our thoughts and prayers are with him. And I'll be honest with you, Crossfire is a great show. I want to thank the audience for always coming in and tuning in. I think we hit a top of like 310 people live here, which was awesome.
Over 100 likes too.
Over 100 likes. Can't thank everybody enough. We're going to be back next Friday at 6 p.m. I do have a couple of special guests lined up. I'm just trying to get the dates in order because these people have bigger YouTube channels. It's hard for me to schedule. Troll away. Woo! We'll just keep it as it'll be a mystery cutout person. But thanks again to GKB for coming in. And GKB, Absolutely. We will have you back on again real soon as well. We really value your opinion.
Thanks, buddy.
Everybody, enjoy your weekend. Game on. We'll catch you later. Peace.
See you.